Hello, everyone, and welcome to another one of our Criterion demo days where we get to talk about you, talk about us, and talk about how we work together. Today's session is all about the benefits advisors. Benefits advisors, benefits consultants, brokers, the community of people who really do a great job of helping their clients with HR, with insurance, with risk mitigation, with risk management, all of those things. And today we're going to talk about what we do for benefits advisors. We're going to give you a little bit of a tour of our platform so that you can see how easy it is for both you to manage and you to get intelligence from, as well as your clients to be able to manage and get intelligence from, and how the end users benefit from such a great positive customer experience. My name is Brett Sklar. I am part of the marketing team here at Criterion. Today, we also have a couple other people joining us. Steve Tompkins is going to be on here with us, who is our solutions architect, and he is going to take us through a couple of examples of some things that we think are important for you to see. We're also going to be joined by Brittany Thornton, who is our VP of Client Success, and she's going to talk to you about the customer experience and really how her and her team have uh, blown the doors off of how to have an incredibly positive customer experience, which we think is one of the most important things to do as a software, as a platform to help really solve problems for our clients and for your clients. And then behind the scenes, the man behind the curtain will be Gary Anderson, who is our VP of Sales. So with that, let's just go ahead and dive in and let's have some fun. We do have Q&A turned on, so if you have any questions at all or any concerns, please go ahead and pop those up into the Q&A. We also have our chat turned on for everyone, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that everyone has access to be able to chat, and then we'll just answer questions towards the end because we do want to make sure we get through a lot of information that we think is helpful for a lot of benefits advisors. So on that note, let's just go ahead and dive in and let's have some fun here. So our plan for today, the introductions, talk about who Criterion is, what we do for our benefits advisors that are our partners, high level overview, and then we're going to do a wrap up. Now, I want to talk about why HR departments and HR teams, as well as operations and finance teams, prefer Criterion. Number one, we're an HCM platform that you're actually going to love. We hear from so many different refugees from other human capital management platforms that really have a challenge with getting a hold of customer service or having problems with the platform being bolted together by multiple acquisitions. All of these things on top of each other and not having a very user-friendly experience, all of these things can make it very challenging. The reason why our customer satisfaction scores are so high, the reason why customers stay with us, and the reason why we have such great growth in the last couple of years has been because we built something and we built a team that you're actually going to love to work with. Now, for you finance-oriented people and your metrics and your return on investment, you're going to see true ROI, really true ROI. We have countless numbers of examples and case studies that show that we save up to a day a week of time or several hours in a day of time. This is not hyperbole or exaggeration. This is what actually happens. And then we're also a fully unified platform from day one. We built this from the ground up, no acquisitions, no Frankensteining together of different pieces and parts. We just work because we are built from the ground up as a single unified platform. Now, for you, for the benefits advisors, here's why we find that people that are benefits advisors, benefits consultants, brokers prefer Criterion. Number one, we give you that intelligence to have those insights about what's going on with your clients, because we know that the more that you know, the more you can help and guide your clients, which is what they're looking for. Because of our insanely awesome customer success rate, we think that that's going to help you create an even stickier relationship with your clients. And then the third thing, and I think maybe one of the most important things for people I've talked to, is that we take this advisor first approach. We are not ever going to be in the broker business or the benefits advisor business. We know that there's a lot of HR and HCM platforms that also offer these types of services. That's not us. We won't do it. It is not core to our business. And we're going to focus on the things that we do incredibly well. And so if you just take a look at things from how do we stand out from the competitors, again, fully unified, 100% advisor focused, and customizable for any client, any of your clients. We do a lot of the heavy lifting so you don't have to. And that's different than what a lot of people in the industry are doing today. So if you want to check it out and visit our website, go to our website, go to the solutions dropdown, and you can find the benefits advisors page, and there's a lot of information there. Or you can follow the URL down below, criterionhcm.com/solutions/benefit advisors. So on that note, now, what I'd like to do is introduce Steve Tompkins, again, our solutions architect, and the person that really does a great job of showing off what our platform is. So, Steve, I'd love to hand over the reins to you and let you do your magic. And let's see your beautiful face as well. Perfect.
Yes. Thank you very much, Brett. Let me my screen. So today what we're going to do is just a quick overview of the system, mostly from the broker's perspective, because brokers aren't going to be using it as an employee. Self-service is where open enrollment is going to be, but I'm going to start here more on the back end, where on the administrative side or HR side of the house here, and we'll look at that. So I've actually started off here in our system. You can see HR. I can see a list of my employees here. This is the administrative view. Now, when somebody logs in, they will go through self-service. So if you're a broker and you're helping out a client, you would go through self-service to get to here. But this is probably where you're going to do things like looking at employee information, maybe doing benefits setup and things like that. So you can see how easy it is to find employees and to use the system here. You'll notice here a very easy search for the employee information. And if I select somebody, you'll notice here the menu here, very easy to find things. You'll notice I can even begin typing in keywords and it will find those things in the menu. So you can find those benefits and information like that. But it is very intuitive and easy to use. So you can click on benefit plans and see what somebody is enrolled in currently. Of course, historical information is always kept in the system. We're never archiving that on active employees, but also terminated employees are also available. So if somebody needs to go back and, of course, do ACA reporting or something like that, that data is never lost. If you need to compare one year to the next, or even go back several years, that data is always available to you. And so you'll see here, as an example, when I click show inactive, you'll notice I've got some things from last year and things from this year. And then I can go in here and I can see the information. Let's look at the 401k enrollment for this person as an example. 10%, the effective dates here. Important for payroll many times is that the benefit effective date might be different than the deduction effective date. Now, maybe not for a 401k, but sometimes we run into that with medical plans. It starts at the beginning of a plan year, but perhaps the deductions are one pay period in advance or something like that. So we've got that out there for that. You'll notice things like coverages for those plans like life insurance that have coverages. Here's the contribution. Both employee and employer are easily calculated there. This happens to be a percentage-based plan, but of course, things like flat amounts for 401k, matches, and those types of things, Roth, and the catch-up 401k plans, including the new things that came into effect at the beginning of this year, are all supported natively in the system here. One of our key things here is also the connections to the carriers. So this information, and I keep on picking on 401k, but any plan out here, we have those files, those connections, whether it's a direct, let's say, API connection or a EDI, where we can send data to those carriers on a scheduled basis. And we do have several carriers we work with where we can round trip data. So as an example, 401k is a perfect example of that, but FSA, HSA, things where you're going to show the enrollment, but you also need to have the deduction amount go forward. That gets sent over. And we have several carriers where they being the employees can go to the carrier site, put in changes like maybe this person would like to change from 10% to 12% or something like that, and it will update into our system. So they can work wherever's most convenient for the employee and have it update into our system. And then, of course, things like, medical plans and dental, where there's dependents and that information would get sent across. Life insurance plans where there's beneficiaries and all that information goes there. One of the key things with life insurance, and I'll show you when we get to open enrollment, is guaranteed issue. All that stuff is supported in the system natively as part of the thing, because as Brett mentioned, we built this from the ground up. This is all one system. It's all our system. We didn't acquire, a certain module and try to bolt it in. We build this, we maintain it, we enhance it on a quarterly basis to make it better for our clients and for our broker clients as well. So it's all out there. And I'm focusing on this, but you'll notice here, if I go to payroll, you see those deductions. I got 6 benefits. There happens to be 7 deductions because this person has a garnishment, but just part of the connection between the HR benefits and payroll is already established. There's not a synchronization that's got to happen. There's not an upload or a file, that's got to be transmitted over. As I mentioned, with those effective dates, that effective date from the benefit plan for the deduction is going to update right into here as changes happen. If somebody goes through a life-changing event or they go through open enrollment and those dates change, it'll affect the deduction as well. And of course, I can look at the historical data here. Again, this is data that is always kept. So you can go back if you're doing payroll and find that information out there. So that's just a quick look at what employee maintenance looks like. Just some of the other stuff you can see, of course, that's going to go into things like ACA reporting. You're going to have the basics about the employee, their name, their birth date, social security number, and those types of things that'll be out there, and that will go to ACA filing as an example. So that is built right in here. Another big thing out here is our ability to customize the software for the client. Now, there are, of course, standard fields and thousands of those, but many clients have the need to track some data that we haven't thought of, nobody's asked for, and so they want to be able to customize that. You can do that right here. You can do that on the benefit plans. You can do it on a number of screens where you can add a field. And I always say you, because the client can do this. If you're working with the client as support for the system, you can do this. You don't have to come back to us and say, hey, I need a field that tracks the allergies. You can create a field like that. And a great thing about that is it's all reportable. As soon as you save this and it's available in the system, you can start reporting on that data. You can import into that field. It's available in our API as well. So if you need to access it from another system, maybe they're working with an ERP and there's something in here that needs to go over to their ERP, it's available in the API. So it is all accessible. So that's a big thing in our system here. Let's look a little bit at the setup of this. I'm going to go to my settings here, and you'll see here things like benefits and carriers and deductions. All of this is accessible so that you can set it up. The client can set it up. They can make changes as necessary. Again, they don't have to come back to us. Now, Brittany's going to talk about our fantastic support. That is all accessible. You'll see the help that's built right into the system here. It'll give you help on, setting up benefits and everything like that. But the broker and the client users can access this stuff and make changes as necessary. We have the ability to have a sandbox environment so they can even copy their data to the sandbox, try things out over there, maybe even run an open enrollment in a sandbox environment to make sure it's doing exactly what you want before you go live, and make the changes that are necessary here. So if I look at something, let's say like an AD&D, you'll see here, what is it? Who's the carrier? What's the carrier account number and things like that might be used in those EDI connections over to the carriers. What is the deduction that it's linked to? Is it elective? Are you self-insured? Of course, ACA wouldn't apply here, but is it an ACA plan? Do you have a cafeteria? So all those settings are here. I mentioned things with evidence of insurability. Of course, AD&D doesn't have that, but you'll see here, I could say, is this a link? Is it a file they need to complete for that? Dependent age, things like that, where there's plans where the dependents get dropped after a certain age and things like that. I won't go into all the formulas that are available, but suffice to say, there are many formulas available to make this easy for the client to, calculate their stuff. And if we ever come across some type of calculation that we've never run into before, we're always happy to work with you and the clients to add that new functionality in. We do quarterly release updates. Many of those things that we're adding into the system come directly from our existing clients. That's one of the reasons why we have such a high customer satisfaction rating, but also from our new clients as they come on board. Maybe they have something we've never run into before. We need to enhance that. We can always take that into account, put it in the contract if it's needed, and add that new enhancement into the system. So you'll see things in here. You might recognize some words like annual salary and options and so forth. We would, of course, help to support this and make sure that it's all understood how that works. See if the AD&D, I've got employee only and family, and different levels, multipliers, and so forth. So all that complexity is all built in here, different rates that apply, and set this all up. Let me look just real quick at open enrollments, the settings here, just very quickly. You'll see various types of enrollments. So life event enrollments, new hire enrollments, of course, the annual enrollments. And when you go into this thing, this is all stuff that the broker and or the client can configure to show and then make it feel like it's their own. It's not just a can that they have to try to fit all their stuff into. They can customize all of this text here. And as I go through, I can have announcements that go out to the employees, and I select exactly the plans, the order that people go through, and everything like that. So we help to configure this. That's part of what we do in implementation. Our support's here to also answer questions on that. And then just very quickly, let me show you the experience for the employee in self-service. So here's an example of self-service. As I mentioned, this would be kind of the landing page where someone would go when they first log into the system. Let me go through an enrollment just very quickly. I'm not going to go through all the steps here, but you'll see benefit plans and open enrollments, of course, qualifying life events. So here's that enrollment I was just looking at the configuration of. You may recognize the image here and the text and how it looks. Of course, this is all configurable. So I might have videos and links and everything in here. They go through, update and add and do whatever I need to do with my dependents. And then you'll see an example of what it might look like on dependent, or excuse me, medical coverage here. You see here, it says health savings account because I chose a HSA eligible plan. I have that out there. If I choose a different plan, I would see what I'm eligible for, and then maybe an FSA shows up because that's configured in there. Here, as you can see, I've selected my dependents and it's showing me my costs next year. As I go through, here's an information about the HSA. All of this is text that can be put in or graphics, as you saw on the previous page, by you or by the end user. And of course, we're here to help out if you have questions on how that works. So very easy for them to step through here. You'll see here waivers. We support that information. Here's an example of life insurance. And voluntary spouse life insurance would activate if I enrolled in the employee life insurance. And I've got I don't know 9 or 10 different plans up here, but you can have any number of plans and stuff like that they go through. And if you have folks where you've got different benefit classes and there are different benefits available to people, all of that is set up in the eligibility and the settings of the plans. So it makes it very easy for the end user, the person who's going through enrollment, to select their benefits. At the very end here, I'm going to get a nice summary of everything I've selected, comparing my current enrollment to my new enrollment. And you'll see here, very simple to finish this off. I can have a signature built in, or I can even save my signature and submit that off. So as I've shown you, very easy to use from both the admin side as well as the employee side. I've talked really briefly about self-service, but this is available on mobile too. So our mobile app allows you to do those things in there. They can go through enrollment if they're more, they don't have a computer in front of them all the time. They're able to do that in mobile as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this back over to Brett. Thank you so much for your time there.
Absolutely. And Steve, thank you for doing a nice run through of the platform. As I take back over the screen here, I just wanted to answer a couple of questions that we typically get from benefits advisors. One of the questions we get a lot is, and then also we're going to have Brittany come and join us and talk about what makes our support amazing. One of the questions we get often is, who do you target? What market do you go after? And so one of the things we do is we make it very easy for you to see and know who is our primary audience that we work with as far as industries as well as company size. You can see a couple of our industries that are Definitely not all of our industries, but these are the ones that we find to be most excited about what we offer and how unique we are compared to other competitors in these industries. The other question is size of companies that we work with. We tend to work with companies that are up to about 5,000 employees. Having said that, we've got quite a few that are well over, but that's 5,000 is kind of up to 5,000 is really where we are targeting 5,000 and below, what we call mid-market or mid-enterprise. So with that, I want to ask Brittany to go ahead and come on to screen here and talk to us a little bit about that thing that somehow others really suck at. And I don't like to use these like negative terms, but I've gone to the HR tech conferences. I've gone to a lot of events. I've also spent a lot of time with benefits advisors, and the complaints that they have really are sad when it comes to the customer and the benefit advisor, experience. So, Brittany, I'll hand it over to you and talk to us about what it is that makes our support second to none.
Thanks so much, Brett. And thank you everyone for having me here today. Really excited to talk about Criterion and the customer experience that you would have with us and our mutual clients would have with us. So I think something that's really important to note is that our customer experience is a white glove experience for every single client we have. We really, really tout ourselves on making sure that you're not just a number here. You'll know my name, you'll know our application support engineers' names, and you'll know our client success manager's name. So you really aren't a number, and we pride ourselves on that. We want you to know us. We want to know you. We want to understand how, as benefits advisors, you like to work with your clients. Do you like phone calls? Do you prefer weekly meetings with us? And we really tailor every single customer experience around a framework, and then we will customize it based off of who you are and how you like to work. So you all get a stake in how we are providing that experience. We also, I think something that's really important to note at Criterion is we have 4 core values, and I'm going to focus on one today, is customer obsession. Our entire team drives towards customer obsession. We love every single customer. We want to provide the best product for every single customer. And a big part of that is always being open to feedback. I always tell clients, I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly, preferably always good. But we really do strive for feedback. And with that, we meet regularly. So we do typically hypercare periods from whenever you go live and you come into customer support. And that's when we get a lot of feedback of how is the system working for you? Why is it working for you? What's not working? How can we help you and your clients use Criterion to its fullest potential? And we want all of our clients to use Criterion to its fullest potential. So we offer several avenues to do that. I know everybody has a different learning method that works best for them. Some people like phone calls. Some people like screen sharing. Some people like emails, videos, all of the things. So we meet with all the teams and we make sure that everybody is trained sufficiently to excel and not be frustrated. And I think that that's a big difference with Criterion is making sure that we're catering to each individual versus saying, this is exactly how we do it here, and we will not change any of our ways. We want to make sure that the support we're providing works for you. With that being said, we also provide, and Steve does these client success webinars every other week on a variety of different topics. And those are completely complimentary because we truly believe at Criterion, training is what makes you powerful and training is what makes you use the system the best. So our client success managers are also intimately involved with that process. And they also will meet with you regularly and they will also survey you a lot. We love a good survey at Criterion. It really helps us gauge where we are and how you're feeling. And we believe in your feelings. We want to hear how you feel. And I think that also sets us apart a little where if you provide us feedback, we take that seriously. And not only do we take it seriously, it helps drive the product. So we have, and Steve had mentioned this a little, a feature request portal where our clients can go and they can recommend way enhancements to Criterion, and the whole team is always looking at that, and we're always chatting about, oh my gosh, we should do that, like that's a great idea. Or we'll reach out to you and we'll do little cohorts with our benefits advisors, other partners, and clients, and say, okay, what are you thinking here as the client, as an end user? How can we improve this area, or how can we create this area? And our team really thrives in that environment. And then just to wrap it up, because I know Brett's going to go into some numbers later, we take all of our numbers very seriously. We don't survey for the sake of throwing a great stat on our website. We actually take our stats and we want the feedback so we can improve the client's experience and your experience. And with that, I'm going to actually pass it back to Steve or to Brett.
Yeah, and Brittany, I'm going to have you stay on for a second. So first of all, thank you. I mean, I think that everyone can see, I mean, we use the word love, and software companies don't really use the word love very much, but you can see in the passion from Brittany and from Steve, and hopefully from me a little bit, although I'm just a marketing person. So, take my insight with a grain of salt. But the reason why customers, I think, really stay with us and love us and migrate over to us is because of their frustrations of the customer experience and the customer love, something that we do really well. And so we've got 500, over 500 enterprise grade customers. We have a 95% satisfaction score. And so, Brittany, you've done a
Yeah.
great job of what?
Yeah, and actually, Brett, that's a 97% now. I just finished our year-end
Whoa,
stat, so we increased by 2%.
that is incredible. So
Mhm.
we're actually at 97%. So we get to update our slides. That's incredible, Brittany. Kudos to you and your team for doing that.
Thank you.
We've been here for a while. We've been here for 20 years, and really been growth for the sake of our own desire to grow, not having a lot of outside influence, forcing us to grow in unhumanistic ways. We work across multiple countries. We have had a 100% uptime, and this is incredible. We've seen a lot of outages from a lot of our people that are in the HCM, world. We haven't. There was a security incident that happened a year ago, almost a year ago, that took out a lot of different software and SaaS companies and a lot of HCM and HR platforms. And guess what? We did not go down. We have 100% uptime, and then we also have a ton of integrations natively that we believe makes it super easy for you to, work across a lot of different platforms, a lot of different, arenas, a lot of different tools that you may use. So some of our solution partners that we've got and our integration partners we have listed here. We are continually adding to this list, but a lot of your clients probably are using some of these technologies already. And we want to make sure that that we are able to connect with those systems natively so that there's not a lot of heavy lifting or a lot of manual work that has to be done. So on that note, I think the final thing to really say is, again, back to that unified from day one, we're just about the only HCM company with an international presence and a really good track record that has a unified system from day one, whether it's the HR system, the talent engagement capability, or payroll operations. It all works together with one database and an easy single source of truth. So with that, I think we basically addressed all the questions we got that came in. On behalf of myself, on behalf of Steve, on behalf of Brittany, on behalf of Gary, I want to say thank you from everyone at Criterion for joining and participating. And if there's any questions you got, please send us a note to love@criterionhcm.com. Thanks and have an amazing day.